rescheduled rendezvous delayed due to a stupendous snowstorm, the amateurs from Akron adventured to Buffalo to battle with the Bulls. The Buffalo Bulls needed one last victory to claim a bowl game, and the 2-9 Akron athletes stood in their way. The overzealous Zips threw an interception on their first drive, but then bowed up, bouncing the Bulls backward on a goal line stand. The Zips then zigged and zagged on their second drive, zooming down the field for an 11-play, 97-yard touchdown drive. The zestful Zips zapped the Buffalo quarterback for a safety, taking a surprising 9-0 lead. The much-maligned Akron backup quarterback Jeff Undercuffler Jr. found a second touchdown pass to amplify the Akron advantage to 16-0. The Bulls battled back and found a field goal to dwindle the disadvantage down to 13. Then Buffalo bounded into the end zone with a timely touchdown toss to cut the Akron advantage down to 16-10 at halftime. The Bulls continued the battle and burst into the end zone for a 17-16 lead at the end of the third quarter. Akron activated their offense one last time to take the ascendancy again, 22-17. The Bulls continued to battle, but an ill-timed interception could have cost their bowl game goal. However, on the next play, the Zonk Zips bungled the ball and it bounced back to the Bulls. Buffalo, with new life, launched down the field and flung themselves into the end zone to take a 23-22 lead. Akron attempted to answer, but it went awry, and the Bulls were bowl-bound. Buffalo 23, Akron 22.
Well, I'll say welcome everyone to the Sickos Community Podcast. My name is Jordan. I am VP of holding things together as we crash into the end of the season. With me tonight, Commissioner, Beth, and Kevin, our spreadsheeter. Kevin, how was your weekend?
It's been pretty good. I sat down and cranked out most of this today. I've been rest of the times this season kind of been trying to keep up with it as it goes, and I think it's much better to just do it in chunks. So we're just learning as we go, but I went through like the last 1,000 entries this afternoon and lots of turning things green, but we got there. Looks good.
Nice. Beth, how are you doing?
Everything is wonderful. Life is great. Finals start tomorrow.
God. Commish?
Doing great. We were going to try to do that classic family Christmas photo thing, and we got rained out today. So, I stood outside and I said, man, we really needed this rain. I got to really enjoy this and enjoy the weird winter grass that I threw down.
Nice.
When our landscapers mistakenly threw a bunch of dirt down in like the beginning of October in our yard. And I was like, my yard is dead. What are you doing here? Why did y'all throw dirt? Like, I didn't want dirt. And they're like, well, we can't really take it back. So I was like, okay, I got some dirt. So I was like, all right. So I threw down this winter rye, which basically you try to time it perfectly where it's 80 to like 80, low 80s are the high and like maybe mid 60s are the low. And so I threw it down, but I mean, we weren't getting any rain. I was trying to water it. And then the Thanksgiving week, it rained like the whole week.
Right.
And it was just a nice steady rain, no crazy thunderstorms or anything like that. So now my yard is just bright green winter rye right now. So I'm going to be cutting the grass throughout the winter. It feels pretty good. I'll say this in
good.
In a dad way.
Like honestly, that makes you feel good.
No, but because you walk in the whole neighborhood and you're the only yard with green grass.
Okay.
Like you just I don't know. It's like this weird proud dad thing.
I got you.
And it's like my lawn is so much better than everybody else's lawn in the entire neighborhood because all their grass, just is dormant and mine is just thriving and bright green. It feels great.
We have a word for having a green lawn in December up here in Pennsylvania, and that's called spray paint.
Yeah.
I did recently get some grass seed that you can put on like right after a snow, and it's supposed to like sit on the snow and then sort of soak in as the snow melts. So we'll see how that goes. I'm by no means a lawn maven, so
that feels like bullshit. I'm just gonna say it. That feels like
really
bullshit.
Does. Yeah. But my yard still looks like Verdun after the great replacement of all of my drainage systems last year. So we'll see.
We're going to talk about a couple things this week. We're not going to open up with our rankings because it was a short week. So we got some other things to talk about first. First off, I want to say that I owe the commission $5 because Alabama did not make the playoffs. I will send you your $5 or I will send it in form of a Paw Patrol gift to your child so that you know what Paw Patrol is.
No, don't you dare.
If he does, I know how to get him back.
That fucking crab toy. Goddamn crab toy she sent me a picture of.
Beth, let me know if I need to get him back. So if he sends me Paw Patrol, I'll let you know.
Oh, I have you covered so well.
It's I'll show. Well, Beth will send you a video. It's a crab toy that moves away from you while it makes sound. It's fucking heinous. I want to talk about the really important part of conference championship week. Who's pulled up outside my house this late at night? That's always fun for being out in this part of. Now they're just slow rolling in front of my house. That's cool. Okay.
It's the crab toy.
They're checking out your Bucky inflatable. They're probably taking a Snapchat of
There's
Bucky.
there's also a T-Rex that either has Santa on his back or it's holding Santa's bag in its mouth now. So we expanded our inflatables. I also caught a lot of shit. I went on Amazon and I bought some icicle lights for the front of the house. So my wife usually puts lights down like the sidewalk, and she usually puts them on like the bushes. And I've never put them on the roof. I was like, I'm just gonna get some. I'll do that, whatever. And I tell her I went on Amazon and got these. And the first answer she asked me, "Are they cool warm, or are they cool white or warm white?" I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like what? What do you mean cool white or warm white? They're white lights. All white lights are the same. Guys,
No,
I
they're
found out
not.
something.
No, they
No,
are
they're
not.
No,
No,
they're
they're
not.
very much not.
I found out that I was wrong. And that there's the difference. Let's talk about the most important thing about championship weekend, which is the Dr. Pepper tuition throw, where we've decided to make college students perform for money. Well, more than they usually do, actually. Except, actually, this is better because we actually pay them for the things they do in this way, as opposed to just taking money from the performances. So in some cases, this is our best way.
Untrained college students perform for money.
Yeah. The argument is the chest pass. It's if you don't know what this thing is, if you're listening to this, you know what the fucking Dr. Pepper tuition throw is. The chest pass is the issue. That it is the most quick. If you're looking for volume shooting, if you're looking for quickness, whatever, that's what you're doing. This car's passed three times now, and now I'm just staring at it. So weird. So basically, you're just popping like the balls out, like chest passing them through this thing, which makes total sense, and is exactly what you'd want to do if you were trying to do this for as fast as possible. And the problem is that people think that it's not real football. Well, of course it isn't real football. Motherfucker, you're not throwing it to a guy. You're throwing it to a Dr. Pepper can with a hole in it.
You're telling me that the entire season of football that we just watched wasn't a bunch of people just passing a football into a gigantic soda can? That's not what we just saw?
Who ran the really it was 2 weeks ago. Who ran the really bad idea overtime chest pass? Was that Lane Kiffin?
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin tried
Yes.
the really bad overtime chest pass. There we go.
It was the shovel pass for the tying 2-point conversion. Didn't work out.
But I think
That was the one that he called 2 timeouts to call, right?
Yes,
Yes.
that was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which means he really meant it.
But I think the commission's position is correct. Did someone tweet this at you, or did this come to your own?
So when you tweeted, of course, you go off and you tweet and you say something inflammatory, and then I'm left in the replies to try to, clean up the mess,
Mhm.
or walk back what you said, or piggyback on it in this situation.
As
So,
God
like,
intended.
That's pretty much what I do. I'm the commissioner. I have to clean up everybody's mess. That's what I do. So you say chest pass is best pass, and the Reddit college football account was like, ban the chest pass. The other people are like, ban the chest pass. And so I go in the replies. I'm like, hey, if you have a problem with the chest pass, it's on Dr. Pepper now. It is Dr. Pepper's fault that this chest pass has neither been outlawed, or they've never changed the 5-yard line that they throw. They never moved it back to 10. It'd probably be hard to chest pass from 10 yards. Or they can make a rule that says you have to throw it overhand. But Dr. Pepper has not done this. College students, desperate for this $100,000 in tuition, have found the meta, basically the meta method to get the ball inside the Dr. Pepper can. And people are mad about that. They're trying to get the money in the best method possible. So if you're still mad about the chest pass, be mad at Dr. Pepper. And which, again, we were mad at Dr. Pepper, and then they made them pay 2 people. So I feel like
was going to
that.
say,
That was great.
We chest pass haters, we proved this weekend that Dr. Pepper can be bullied by sufficient internet content. So, don't
Bullied-
talk to us, talk to them.
Bullied into correcting something that is basically a rounding error for their bottom line. Let's be clear
Yes.
here.
Yes.
The fact that there was a secret second tiebreaker that no one knew about that got decided before the tournament itself was just so reality breaking. Like, no, that's not how this works. These two people walk in, they don't know each other. No, they've they've talked before. They've already practiced this. And everyone's reality just broke down and screamed at Dr. Pepper until they just decided to give everyone the money.
I had no idea that Mark Emmert ran the Dr. Pepper challenge until this moment. That was the most NCAA bullshit imaginable.
Yeah,
That explains why he got votes in the poll now. I saw his name pop up and I was like, huh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My wife,
personal opinion, all Dr. Pepper tuition throw future ties should be decided by fair play points.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or a coin flip. A very unenthused coin flip.
Sound effect here.
I also like the idea. Someone suggested that they should turn this into a long snap contest, which I really like. So instead of a throw contest, make it a long snap contest. You got to snap that fucker 5 yards.
Or try to see how many seconds it takes to have one of the college students score a safety on the other.
Oh, there we go. So now what Beth has done is she's taken it less from a skills competition and more into the gladiatorial arena. And I'm glad she's done this because that opens up things for us. Now we can start calling for blood sport. And I like this, guys.
Yeah. Fight for your money and our entertainment.
Exactly. Well, we've finally all come back to what we all really want to see, which is college students with spears and nets just going at each other.
Which is, listen, currently I am a college student, as weird as that is at my age. And that is, I think, the single most authentic thing that we could possibly do, because they will turn to violence at the drop of a hat. So this is just spiritually correct. I'm correcting an error, Dr. Pepper. You're welcome.
A Dr. Pepper error is one of the worst rodent sets of sounds. Good God.
It's very Pittsburgh.
It's very. Let's talk about the World Cup briefly. The U.S. men's team lost to the flu-ridden Dutch. I heard they actually had the flu. Not that flu-ridden is some sort of slur that I just invented about the Dutch. You them. Filthy Dutch and their flu.
Got to be careful. We got a lot of Dutch listeners here. So, korfball. Got to say it again.
That's korfball. We're going to be doing lots of korfball coverage.
Yes.
3-1 was about what it felt like watching the game. I don't know what I expected to happen. I went into this being like, well, we're playing a European team and it's the round of 16. Guess we're gonna go out like 3-1 or 2-1. That's just what happens, and there we go. It's nice having a midfield. I wish we had someone in the front to put the ball through.
Yes.
Maybe in 4 years.
That's all right.
The only other fun part was that the US was the only CONCACAF team to make it through the round of 16. The Asian Confederation way overperformed this time, which is amazing for them.
Yeah, that's been fun.
Yeah, that's
I was all in on Senegal this afternoon, and unfortunately that went about as well. So I am in the market for a third team now, and we will see who that is. I'm sorry to whoever it is, because
can I interest you in Germany? Oh no. My fucking Germany team.
I will get to them later.
God. Yeah, I saw Die Mannschaft had some points, and that was
There's a lot of German votes after there.
We had a lot of World Cup votes.
A lot of World Cup votes this time. All right.
So then let's go on to talk about some coach hires. Things that have been locked down today on Sunday. Dion is going to Colorado. That's real for now. He already said his thing. He took off from Jackson State after they had just won the SWAC conference title. Jackson State is still heading on to Atlanta to play North Carolina Central for the Celebration Bowl. We will see what Dion does in Colorado.
My favorite part of the SWAC championship, which I mean, it wasn't close. Like Southern kind of made it close at like 36-22.
They held
at one point. There was a tweet I put in the Discord. It's from, I guess, the Daily Show, Roy Wood. The Southern's band announcer just chose violence at the SWAC halftime show.
Oh, that was very funny.
Great.
Oh my God. He just roasted the entire Jackson State crowd in their stadium, like at halftime.
Yeah.
Basically just, and then the laugh really gets me every time. He's just like
the cackle. Yeah.
And I'm like, that reminds me of the Sicko guy. So, ha ha.
That guy is wonderful, and as far as I'm concerned, he can come on the podcast whenever he wants.
So we'll talk about this, especially with Blue, once everything gets settled a little more and find out what this means for the rest of the HBCU world. But we're happy to see that Dion found his cash. He's moving on to Colorado. Colorado needs something because, whoa. The one that really got me was that GJ Kinney, we're calling it Kenny Ken. I actually don't know how to say his name now that I've
I'ma
said it
say-
out loud.
I'm gonna say Kenny.
Yeah, I've heard Kenny.
Yeah.
GJ Kenny out of Incarnate Word is going up the road to Texas State. For you guys who do not know Texas geography, that is close even by Texas standards. That is like 40 miles, if even that. It's very close.
It's 2 hours on I-35, but
Yeah.
that's just traffic. So it's really close mileage wise. Like San Antonio to San Marcos, which basically San Marcos is halfway to Austin. Really not that far at all, just right down I-35.
This is gonna be interesting. Incarnate Word's had this is his first year at Incarnate Word, and he came in inheriting a pretty good program, but they are continuing to be a very good program. In fact, they're continuing on in the playoffs right now. So with all that set up, that's kind of weird. We were just talking actually about how I said that we just don't seem to have FCS coaches getting picked up like this anymore, and lo and behold, this happens.
Bam.
He was a Tulsa alum, so a lot of folks thought that with the Tulsa opening, he'd be heading up there, but Texas State apparently found the money.
I wanted to say that there's not many GJs. Like, I mean, you get like an AJ, a DJ, maybe an EJ, or a CJ, or a PJ. I've really not come across many GJs in my life. Have you?
I don't personally know one. I'm looking at it right now. He is Gary Joe Kinney the Third. So, you know, a lot of times you get like an RJ or an AJ and it's, you know, something junior is kind of what they're abbreviating there. No, it's those are his first and second initials, or Gary Joe.
He sounds like a lost Watt brother. Like, oh, GJ. You know
GJ Watt.
You know GJ Watt.
GJ Watt.
I kind of love that, like, it's a Gary Joe. So, like, usually, you know, Gary is sometimes short for Garrett. Joe is usually short for Joseph. Like, nope, we're just going full on Gary Joe. My brother-in-law is called Andy Ed, so I appreciate this. Not Andrew, not Edward. Nope, Andy Ed.
He's not just Gary Joe. He's Gary Joe the Third. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a line of Gary Joes from Mesquite, Texas. Actually, we'll talk about where he played his high school career in a moment, because that actually comes up really interesting.
I went to high school with a Richard, who had the nickname you might imagine.
Yeah.
He was a third.
Mm-hmm.
So someone grew up with that and was like, I know what I'm naming my kid.
Parental abuse is often generational.
Dick the Third, let's do this.
Yeah. I had somebody I went to middle school with. His name was Christopher, and he was junior. So I don't.
Stop the fucking chain of violence, guys.
I can't say I've ever known someone with the same first and middle name like that.
Oh no, that was his first.
That's first and last.
Oh,
that's
first and last. Yeah, either way.
I have a brother who was a fourth, but I won't dox him here.
So GJ was quarterback for at least a little bit. I think he moved during high school for the Gilmer Buckeyes, which we found out in Texas are one, the only Buckeyes, and two are basically if you took the colors of Bowling Green and photocopied them over a transparency of Brutus Buckeye. And it's so bizarre to see Brutus in orange and brown.
Yep.
And they're apparently very good. They have won. I think they're either still in the championship race right now, or they just dropped out. They've played so much extra football. We had like Gilmore people up on our mentions, local news folks from Tyler saying hi.
Cursed logo crossover stuff is some of my favorite things you do. It's very, very entertaining.
Yeah.
It's it just makes me so happy, because that, like, there's only so many options, because at some point you got to start crossing things, and you end up finding these things that are just
So the school that uses Brutus the Buckeye, the Georgia and/or Green Bay Packers G, and
Bowling Green's color,
Bowling
Green
Green or Cleveland colors, Cleveland Browns colors. Take your pick.
What did your high schools use? Because mine has gone through like phases of this. We were Clemson for a little while, then we were Georgia Tech, then we went to Green Bay. Now we're back to Georgia Tech.
We've always been an Old English E. Okay. And we've always had red and blue in the Bobcats. In the school over have always been gold and purple Bulldogs. Like that has just always been the thing.
Okay. How about the rest of you?
My school was a very faithful ripoff of the Chargers. We were, royal blue and yellow, had the same lightning bolt helmet, and the Notre Dame fight song of all things.
Always.
Perfect.
Yeah, classic.
We are the LSU fight song.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Tiger Rag.
I have played Tiger Rag so many times.
Okay. Did they let you play neck?
That was my question.
Boo! Let this public school play next.
Listen, so I may or may not be in charge of what the alumni band plays next fall, and I'm not going to say that neck's on the list, but I'm not going to say neck is not on the list.
I will write you an arrangement that old people can play. I'll write you an easy arrangement that the sixth graders can play along with you.
We'll do it the same session where we're recording like whatever the opener is for this show.
No, my high school.
There we go. Neck for jaw harp. We got this.
There we go. Yep.
My high school is just it's all Notre Dame. Everything's Notre Dame.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
My high school basically affiliated with the Notre Dame Seminary. We have Holy Cross. It is just an H and a C. So it interlocks like the ND. We have the Notre Dame fight song. We have the Notre Dame colors. And I grew up not really liking Notre Dame. There were like, I think the class valedictorian and the top 2 people went to Notre Dame. So that's fine
Get their
for
money's
my
worth.
school. But it's just like I went other places.
Yeah, I'm right by Penn State, as I know I have mentioned in here before. And so my high school uses Penn State colors along with our Clemson/Georgia Tech/Green Bay logo.
Gotcha.
Which really makes all of the other high schools around here who are some variation of Mountain/Nittany Lion very angry because they can't use the Penn State colors as a result.
Gotcha.
So we have like the Altoona Mountain Lions who are stuck with Alabama colors.
All right, yeah,
and we have
something that's 100%
yeah
opposite direction.
Yeah, like State High, which is stuck with USC colors. Like it's a whole big thing.
Other coach hires that were interesting. FAU grabbed Tom Herman. Tom Herman seems to have fallen from a very high place. He wasn't that bad at Texas. I just gonna like say this. Like he wasn't that bad at Texas. We all seem to have forgotten this. And now he's at FAU?
I feel like this is just a steal for them.
He's gonna do the Lane Kiffin thing and like get a better job of it very soon, and that's fine. Like FAU, once like if this works for FAU, Mazel tov. Like that's fine.
Do you ever wonder if this is what Homer was trying to write when he wrote the Odyssey? Just writing the journey of Tom Herman to finally make his way back to Texas.
No, but now I'm definitely going to write the story very much like that using some non-copyrightable names. Absolutely. USF, who tweeted out 6 days ago, hey, you want to know who our coach is? And then was very quiet for the next 6 days, finally picked a coach. They picked Coach Alex Golesh, who is Tennessee's former OC. Only thing we can really find it super interesting, he's an Ohio State guy, but he's born in 84, he's 38, and he was born in Moscow. Yeah, so he's young, obviously, because we're young. And also the fact that I'm sure that if you were born in Moscow in the 80s, Tampa in 2022 has got to seem like paradise.
Yeah. The last time that I was in Russia, I was buying a sword in a in a strip mall,
like you do,
where some like with a whole bunch of dudes with AK-47s and ski masks on the wall, and that sort of feels like Tampa. So cool. Russia's great. Kids travel abroad.
Aunt Beth
was Steven Garcia there?
I bet. Aunt Beth has the best stories. I love when Aunt Beth has story time. They're the best stories.
My sword is upstairs. I have the jaw harp though.
It does seem like that's a Tampa strip mall. It's like a normal thing where, just AK-47s, ski mask and everything. And then you go in there, hey, can I get a sword?
Yes. Yeah. If you want to know how I got it on the plane to get it back home, make sure that you @ me on Twitter. That's @ the obnoxiously pit girl. It's really easy to get a sword on a plane. Like, it's distressingly easy to get a sword on a plane. I was coming from Russia, you guys.
My God.
I love this so much. Okay. Woo. Okay. God, Beth, you have lived such an amazing life. I'm talking like you're about 80 or something.
No jokes told on this podcast either.
This is ridiculous. I don't know why. Every time I see the city Moscow, I think of this like random deep cut Michael Jackson song that was on like his album History, Stranger in Moscow. It's just like he yells it at the end, and it's just stuck it lives in my head. It's ridiculous. I don't know why. I can't get it out.
I think of Moscow, Idaho.
Honestly, same.
I'm gonna focus on the Kibby Dome. I'll change that eventually.
As you should.
Yes, I will.
Got their hire out of the way. They took Jamie Chadwell from Coastal for a lot of money, like $3 million.
I'm sorry, who?
I'm good. They're gonna be bleeped out of this entire podcast, so don't worry.
Perfect.
No one will know. They're paying Jamie Chadwell apparently a lot more money than anyone else was willing to pay, which is fine.
Which is wrong. Like it's full on wrong.
Apparently,
Pay attention.
Apparently, Jamie is like this is like his vibe too. So we may, yeah, that right there. Still open currently. Coastal's open. Western, Michigan, UNLV, Stanford, and Cincy, I think, are our open spots currently. And
I think Coastal was just filled, but I can't.
They got Tim. They got Tim Beck, I believe.
That's it.
I saw that name and I was like, "Who the fuck is Tim Beck?" And then I looked it up. Tim Beck was Texas's offensive coordinator from 2017 to 2019 because he had been on Ohio State staff on that same spot from 2015 to 2016. It was this really weird tale he's been on, but I know this person.
Oh, we forgot to add that North Texas just basically popped open as soon as we started recording. So North Texas
was bizarre.
is open.
God,
yes, Beth's West Virginia stole the North Texas athletic director, and so nobody was there to save Seth Luttrell anymore. So then I guess they fired Seth Luttrell. Now that opens up Spencer Hall of the Shutdown Fullcast
for North Texas.
Breaking it here first.
Oh yeah,
Jordan, since I ruined this for you, does that mean we're fighting?
I don't know that I can. I had so many strong feelings very quickly, and then I realized that I had been predicting that Seth Luttrell was firing for the last 5 years. So I don't know why I had so many strong feelings about this.
I think you're just shocked that it happened now, like when you probably thought he was safe.
Yeah,
right.
This is another one that doesn't make sense with the timing.
They just
similar
went
to
the
UNLV, where it's
they just went to the Conference USA title game.
Yeah,
They're
you were in the
going
title game.
They're
You're
going to a decent
bowl
bowl game.
Like, UNLV is not at that level, but I looked it up, and I think in the last 40 years they've had 2 seasons with more wins than this season.
Yeah, no, they're not good.
Like, I understand like wanting to be better, but at the same time, like this guy with UNLV clearly had them on a improving track, and then they're like, "No, we're done with you." I have a lot of questions for that one.
Let's talk about the most important game of the weekend, which was Buffalo Akron at noon on Friday, a time at which we started posting about football games, and Twitter's reaction was, "What the fuck are you talking about? Why is there a game on this Friday? Is this the title game? No. Well, is this for bowl eligibility? Yeah, for one of them.
Sort of.
Why is this close? I don't know. The Zips are fired up. Buffalo won 23-22.
Shout out Jeff Undercuffler Jr. again.
He had to go in. There was no one else.
That's it. Jeff Undercuffler Jr. He got banged up in this game, and Akron lost the lead when he got banged up, and then he tried to gut it out at the end. But
one of our followers said at one point he had more ejections than touchdowns this season.
Yes.
He got ejected from the sideline.
He did.
That
was
is
great.
Spectacular.
I think we shouted him out when he had to play Tennessee, and Tennessee was just going to blow Akron out of the water. And then he got shouted out again when he got tossed from the sideline for bad mouthing the referee. And that caused
how much shit do you have to say from that far away?
That caused Akron to go for 2 from like the 48-yard line after 2 of those penalties of him getting tossed on top of that. And then now he gets shouted out in like the most random, meaningless game for Akron. But they're on fire. It is so ridiculous.
And Buffalo had this makeup game that they just seemed to be completely uninterested in being in for the first 3 quarters.
Yeah.
They woke up, they won 23-22, and because of that, they get to go to Birmingham, I believe.
The Camilla Bowl? Yes, the Camilla Bowl.
Yeah, we're still
at Montgomery.
I believe that's Montgomery. We're still the bowl news all came in today. We're gonna do lots of bowl talk. We're not gonna cover that today. I just gotta remember these things.
Yeah,
who knew?
We're skipping the bowl stuff, so we're gonna go. We're gonna break it all down. We're not professionals that are pumping this content out immediately.
What are you talking about? I was pumping out content all fucking day today.
Seriously.
About like every single bowl. I had a cute little tagline to go with it.
Well, I mean, I was supplying some of those.
You were. My favorite one was when they announced that Utah State was going to the whatever the bowl is at SMU Stadium in Dallas. And my response to that was, if I had told you back in, I think 3 months ago, the Aggies were going to Dallas for a bowl game, that would have had a very different meaning to you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Yes.
Yes, we'll break down the bowls a whole lot more coming up on our bowl previews. We're going to do a couple of different ones. We're going to break it down a little bit different. Again, Sickos game of the week. Buffalo's losing 22-17. Buffalo throws an interception. Akron has the ball with like 3 minutes left. They're going to salt it away. Immediately, Akron fumbles right back to Buffalo. I'm like, oh no, Zips, don't do it.
Did it.
They did it. They gave up the touchdown. And then they threw an interception to seal it when they got the ball back. So, bowl-bound Bulls.
There were two title games on Friday night that both went about the same way, but not in the direction you thought they would have. The first one, UTSA 48, North Texas 27. UTSA just came out and decided they were going to play. UNT looked good for the first drive and a half or so, and then the Roadrunners just fucking meeped them. And then the other half of that story was the proud USC Trojans 24, Utah 47. The Trojans, Caleb Williams looked really good again for the first drive and a half. And then Utah decided they were just going to bring some bricks, some oranges, and a sock. And that poor, beautiful boy just got destroyed.
He broke a big run and then he was limping, but nobody on the broadcast was talking about it. Everybody on the timeline, like, he's not right. He's hurt. And then the broadcast finally realizes it in the third quarter. Like, right, oh, he's not 100%. Like, come on, man. You have to notice, like, he is walking with a noticeable limp. He is gimpy. And then they're like, well, his hand's bleeding, so that makes him limp. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, hand was bleeding, couldn't walk straight. At the end, the big push for the end zone, he has to hand it off. Clearly, if he were fine, he would have taken the ball himself. Utah wins the Pac-12 just like we all knew they would. And they're going to the Rose Bowl, and USC gets to play Tulane.
Yeah, that week one Florida-Utah game looks very different at this point.
One of our off-season podcasts is going to be games that look a lot different at this point. I have that topic already.
All right.
Excellent.
Got a pin in that one. That's one of those. A&M Miami. Put a pin in that one too. That one's got a long pin I put into that one.
Anything that App State played like in the first month of the season
versus the second half, yes.
I think we're just gonna go over their whole season.
On Saturday, we had some more fun stuff. So things got a little crazier. I want to talk about the one non-title game first. New Mexico State 65, Valpo 3. First off, shout out to Valpo for going down to New Mexico State. They did not have to play this game. They got paid to do it, but they did not have to. Their season has been over for a while at this point.
You can argue that they didn't play this game.
And they were there.
They were there.
I saw them on the field.
This kind of, okay, so the score of this game reminds me of a story that my father told me from college, where one of his fraternity brothers had been in a history class and realized going into the week of finals that he was about to get a D in this class. And so he went in to meet with the professor and he said, what can we do about this grade? And the professor's like, you haven't been here all semester. He's like, no, you don't understand. I want to know why I have a D. And he's like, well, you took the quiz in the first week. He's like, can we turn that to a 0? Because if I have a D, it looks like I tried. That 3 points makes it look like you tried, Valpo.
Once again, Diego Pavia had a day. He went out like he had 23 yards per play. If we're looking at his passing game, he had at least 320 yards, 4 TDs, a QB rating of I think 83. Just numbers, Heisman numbers.
He started the game 7 for 7, 291 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do we have a timestamp for when he had his first incompletion? Because I know it was late.
It was real late. I need to find that. But yeah, this was a great day for the seniors. New Mexico State had already been okay to play in a bowl game before this, so this was just for fun. I'm glad they played it.
I'm still curious if Jerry Kill has signed his contract yet. Like, he's still not signed his contract.
Is he dodging him, like dodging service process? They're trying to serve like a process. So he keeps dodging people.
I feel like he's on the run. He may owe some money somewhere, and he can't sign it because they'll garnish his wages. Because I mean, you think about it, just go to Las Cruces and hide. Yeah,
we're coming for your couch, Jerry.
He rent to own a Windows 95 PC back in 96, and he's afraid they're going to come find it.
It's all those Blockbuster rentals. Like, God, they will find you.
Columbia House is trying to collect. You need to buy your 4th CD.
I'm looking at the stat line for this game, and like Falpo attempted 43 passes.
Yeah.
43, which is what gets you like incredibly lopsided numbers. Like their yards per pass is 3.7 compared to 16.2 for New Mexico State. Holy spoons.
New Mexico State's social media department was having so much fun with this too.
Oh, yes.
They were just having like the best day. What ended up being the best game probably of the entire day in terms of like watchability was the first one. Kansas State 31, TCU 28. Kansas State wins the Big 12 and the purple off. Due to there was some weird reffing, all I'm going to say, and that some TCU folks probably have an argument about that.
Just the Big 12 refs having a normal one.
It felt like that.
Yeah, it did.
I still don't think anyone fully knows what happened on that play,
including the refs.
Yes,
they said they saw it. They said that they had the overhead cam, that the people up in the booth saw it, and they saw nothing to talk about, so they just let it roll.
But it was also never officially reviewed. Like, they're saying, yeah, we, looked at it, like, so on, but they also are saying we didn't review it. And like, I know the review is an official term and all that. It's just like, they also took like 5 minutes there. Like, the broadcast was showing replays of that for, a good 5 minutes, and then they never had an official review. It was just a deeply strange sequence of events. But
I figured out this weekend that the perfect amount of time to review a play is the intro to Sweet Child of Mine. If you get past the intro to Sweet Child of Mine, then you have spent too long on the replay. And that's just because one of the fucking Michigan replays went so long that it finally got into it. I was like, wow, we've been listening to this for a long time if I can hear lyrics. TCU still makes the playoffs, which is, I think, the important thing here. People were saying it wasn't going to happen. I kind of felt like it was since they played it so well. Kansas State proves that they're still a very good team this year, which I think we all would agree to as well.
Yeah, this game was everything I wanted it to be. I loved the first game between these two, and that was incredibly hampered by K-State going down to at least their third string quarterback, if not further, all over the course of that game. And then this one did not have to go that deep down the depth chart, but yeah, this game was fantastic. I had a ton of fun watching it.
I mean, the Big 12 championship remains undefeated at ruining its title aspirants' days.
Yes.
Every time
the Pac-12 championship has something to say about that.
They're real close on that. They have this like tendency to just.
In terms of pure entertainment, the Big 12 championship has not been beat recently. They've all been just absolute banger games.
It was unfortunate because I was hoping that the Toledo University of Ohio game on at the same time was also going to be a banger, and guys, it was not. It was 17-7.
Not.
It was 17-7. It was not a banger. Toledo took a lead early and then sort of just held Ohio there. Ohio ties it. It goes up. The teams don't really do much of anything. Congratulations, Toledo. You win the MAC. Ohio hasn't won the MAC since like the 50s, apparently. It's been an incredibly long run that feels impossible in that conference.
Sorry, Bobcats.
Sorry, Bobcats indeed. So we continue on our Saturday. The one that did not surprise me, but I think surprised a lot of other people who have not watched Coastal play lately, was Troy 45, Coastal Carolina 26. And this was with Grayson McCall. QB1 was there, but not a whole lot. At one point, Troy was up 31-0.
Troy took it to him. I mean, this was just, Troy was playing in their home stadium, and they just opened the floodgates, and they just kept pounding Coastal. And like all those Coastal points or whatever they got at the end where they get to like 26 or whatever.
Trash time.
All garbage time. Troy like checked out and basically was just playing prevent for the entire second half, seemingly. It was ridiculous. Troy is ranked now, which, they forgot their logo, which is customary. Welcome to the AP Top 25. We forget your logo.
How many fucking weeks are we going to do this? I know how many. It's 13.
I think it's initiation.
It's hazing.
It's hazing. The AP poll is hazing everybody. Hey, you made it to the poll for the first time. You don't earn your logo until the second week, okay?
Not for the first time ever, though. First time this year, because South Carolina didn't have a logo, and they're in the fucking SEC.
We don't trust you enough yet. You got to stay here for a week. Then we'll get you a logo in the AP poll.
See, The thing is, the AP poll has very, very limited storage. So they've got one folder that they can only keep about
It has to
40
be that.
logos
It has to be
in.
that. It's the only thing
So
that makes
it's
sense.
the current top 25, and then they've got, spaces reserved for, your Notre Dames and your Texases and your USCs and all of those people that show up in every single preseason poll. So that takes up about 10 of the remaining 15 spots. So if you're lucky to be one of the 5 that they forgot to clean out, then you get your logo the first week. Otherwise, you got to wait till the second week where they realize someone's not coming back in and they throw your logo out.
It has to be that. They have to be burning off some dude's clip art folder.
Kevin, I want you have set up like this wonderful fiction. I want to imagine that there's this like old dude named Schmitty who's like in a room full of filing cabinets, and he has all the logos he's been keeping there since the 1971 season. And if you weren't in the AP poll in 1971, he doesn't have your logo.
It's absolutely on a
team.
shared drive that no one has reorganized in a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like who made it? Louisville? Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Idaho is still an FBS team in this.
Perfect.
No, I know Idaho is
folder.
still is an FCS team in this folder, but only because they never moved them up
They
the
never
first time.
made the jump.
They're still in the FCS from the first time.
People keep having to like smack his hands every time he tries to put the Nebraska logo on things. Like, stop it.
It just looks, this whole thing just looks better if we put the in balance. It's got good space. I'm willing to believe the AP poll had Nebraska in it for 10 years when they shouldn't have been, just because like spatially it looked correct.
It's the AP poll equivalent of a rounding error.
Yes. The game that was also a ton of fun, but not as close, I guess, at the end as it was Tulane and UCF. Congratulations, Tulane. This is their first big bowl win since like the 60s, first major bowl win since like the 30s. A lot of Tulane people being like, well, this feels like 32. This feels like the Rose Bowl we lost against USC. It's like, okay, ooh, we're getting spicy for going that far back. This had some of my favorite moments in terms of the crowd. The UCF sign that stands for "You Can Go Fuck Yourself" is one of my favorites.
Yes.
And then a field storming that I can only describe as a bunch of kids that have never stormed a field before.
Oh, absolutely. No, this was the bison herd going over the cliff. Like everyone is just full send, no breaks.
I've watched a lot of Lion King lately. And
yes,
this
exactly.
the wildebeest looks a lot like that.
Yeah, I found myself desperately wishing that they had like the people who were there with the Steadicam rigs from when they filmed Planet Earth the first time, with like the wildebeest jumping over the crocodiles just grabbing them. I wanted this for the like with Sigourney Weaver narrating over it, or like David Attenborough or somebody talking about like, and here we have the crossing of the field.
Yeah,
as people are just getting eaten by hedges, and oh, it's beautiful.
Put a camera at the base of that wall looking outward and just have feet coming down and people tumbling.
Oh yeah, it was wonderful.
Shout out to the Tulane track team. I don't know if this girl is on the Tulane track team. I hope she is.
She is now.
She got some jumps. She took a jump from the ledge, and I saw her do it, and I was trying to scroll through with my thumb. I was on my phone, but man, she took a leap off that front row.
Full send. This is Tulane's first conference title in 24 years.
There we go.
So feels like 1998 for them.
Like
Their second conference title in 73 years. So this is basically in between the 98. I think the last one before that was 1939.
They were independent for a lot of that though. So I'm gonna give them that. They were independent for a lot of that. And
so last year, again, Hurricane Ida hit at the beginning of the season. So they were nomads for a little bit, and they were practicing on the road. They finished 2-10. You felt like they were better than what they were. And then they turned it around this year. They're 11-2. My favorite thing is to text my dad after these games. So I text him the Tulane fight song line, or what they're saying. I was like, a hell of a hullabaloo, Tulane, like Tulane baby, all caps, celebrating. And my dad responds, yes.
God, so fucking patriotic. I love it.
And then so I go back and I was like, to the Cotton Bowl, yes, nice for Wave. And I was like, conference champs. And then he goes, never would have believed it. And then I go from 2-10 to 11-2. Crazy year. Will help recruiting, hopefully.
Your dad's a recruitment head. He's got his head already on the next
Is
thing.
your
It's wonderful.
dad
Love
Nick
it.
Saban?
I was like, I hope they keep Willie Fritz. And he goes, I think so. And that was the end of the conversation.
What I love about this is that, to have this for the first time since 1998, when Sugar Ray's Fly was topping the charts, is so appropriate.
Oh God.
Can we
With
put the
that
video
girl
of
just-
that girl going? Yeah, I was
Please
like,
do that.
Okay, I'm gonna do that
I
tonight.
just want to
I
fly.
love that. That was a jam. Hey, Kamish, a random question for you. I don't know if you saw it or if you did. Ask everyone else. Before Conference USA, the Conference USA titled it Tulane won 98.
Yes.
What conference was the last conference they won?
I think it was the SEC.
It was the SEC.
Yeah.
That would have been my guess.
Tulane SEC 49 conference championships. They brought us out of the World War II. They brought us out of that depression after the war. We were winning. We were excited. And Tulane won an SEC championship.
It's great for them. Totally unexpected.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you hope for like 7-5, 8-4, but an 11-2 year to get a New Year's Six Bowl, it's a dream for the Wave.
There's another team from Louisiana that did not have as good of a night.
Oh no.
A team from Louisiana that went into Atlanta.
Oh,
And-
say it like Brian Kelly. Atalanta.
Atalanta. When I heard him do that, it sounds like there's an Italian soccer team that's called like Atalanta or Atalanti or something like that.
Yes.
Atalanta, yes.
Right.
it's-
It sounded like that. Yeah, it sounded like a Central European soccer team that he had purchased. Georgia
It reminded-
50, LSU 30. And that score does not tell the story of the game. Because even if at one point LSU felt like they had this game in control, they never really did.
So they had a nice drive to begin, and then they had to settle for a field goal. And then all hell broke loose.
And then the game was over.
Well, no, they
I've
went
never-
down to tie it up.
I've
In
never
a 7-7, I'm like, all right, LSU, yes. Way to fight back off of that horrific error. And that was kind of it for
Can we talk about the kick? Can we talk
Yes,
about
do it.
that?
That's what we're here to talk about.
So blocked kick hits the field in fair territory. It's a live ball.
hmm
That's a live ball. There is no whistle. I'm not a guys. As I've said many times, I'm not a football player. Look at me. I'm football shaped. I'm not a football player. I did not play football. I know, however, also what it's like to get stupid about something you know. Okay, I have been in a situation where I've been under pressure, been in a very public situation, and just forgot something that I should know. But it's still really fucking funny to watch 21 other players walk off the field, not realizing there's a live ball. One Georgia guy standing over it, looking down at it, like he's afraid if he moves, it's like Jurassic Park. If he moves, he's going to draw attention to the fact that he has it.
Well, he triple checks. He keeps looking at it and looking up and looking down and looking up, just like waiting for a whistle or waiting for some kind of reaction. It reminds me honestly of that the North Texas
Yes.
Yeah.
fake punt return for the fake fair catch.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was the same thing. Like he just stood over it and he waited and he waited and he waited. And you could tell there were like 2 or 3 players on other Georgia players that were in on it and like realized what was going on. And they kind of formed up around him. And LSU is huddling on the other hash mark and slowly, sadly walking off the field. And then he takes off. And
If
There
you're
is-
if you're a ref,
it's
do you
just a
make-
rerun of that fake punt. Like
if you're a ref and because you know what's going on, do you make eye contact with him and give him a little like smile, like a little nod, like you like give him a little eye wiggle or something, or do you just like try to like stare anywhere else but at him and then try not to make eye contact as to give it away?
There is a bare moment right before he goes to pick it up and run where
Mhm.
his body language is, I am the toddler that is about to get away with the biggest bullshit.
oh, it's Knife Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
He knows that
Yeah, he knows.
has
He's like
everyone beat.
He's like, stay still, stay very still, stay. Holy shit!
It's like, hey,
It's a
hey,
delightful
I'm
football
gonna-
play.
So
can I
good.
wait? I know I shouldn't do this. Wait, no, I don't want to do it. All right, wait, maybe. Hey, they're not paying attention. Should I do it? Should I do it? I'm gonna do it. Oh my god, I'm gonna do it.
I'm surprised he didn't. I'm surprised he didn't run the whole way like waving his arms like wacky arm inflatable man.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my god, I did it.
I'm surprised he didn't just explode during the anticipation of that play because
I couldn't held it together. I couldn't have done
Oh
that.
no!
It's like no, nobody's looking. What?
Is this
Where
gonna
did I
work?
go?
I think
Where
this
did I
is
go?
gonna- oh my
Is
god,
this-
oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
That set the stage for the whole game.
There was the bear hug moment where the Georgia, I think it's Jordan Davis, picked up Jaden Daniels, and like he has him in
like
one
one
arm,
arm.
and he's pointing to the crowd.
Yeah, like it's trophy, like a fucking Pop Warner trophy.
It really felt like it was wrestling at that time. It was a WWE match where he's pointing to the crowd like, yes, I'm about to finish him with my patented move. I am gonna give him.
There's your gladiator, thumbs up, thumbs down. Like, Rome, what do you want?
What do you want? And I'm like, oh God, LSU, you're in trouble. I knew it was going to be bad. I honestly, I knew it was going to be bad for LSU. I wanted them to maybe just hang around, maybe cover the spread, maybe do some signs of life. They showed a little bit, and I mean, they scored 30, which again, garbage time, of course. Jaden Daniels got hurt. Maybe it would have been closer if he didn't get hurt. But I mean, I don't know.
I don't know because Garrett Nussmeyer, whose name I had never fucking heard before that game.
Oh, that's a classic Cajun name.
Nussmeyer?
No, there's an association with the LSU
feel like
program.
Was he somewhere else before?
He was there last year.
Name before.
He was there last year too.
I know him from last year then. Okay.
Yeah, so
I've definitely heard his name.
Yeah, so they call him the Nuss Bus, and you have no idea where this bus is going. It'll likely break down, but get on the Nuss Bus. And it was quite entertaining for the second half because Georgia had checked out after they hit 50 points, which they went for 2 to get to 50.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Of course they did.
Yeah, and the Georgia Bulldogs were dancing to get the GAT, which LSU was in 2019 after they beat up Georgia. So it was a little revenge for the Bulldogs there.
Let's go on to another game that evening. We'll talk about the boring one first. Fresno 28, Boise 16. Boise lost at home to a Fresno State that had lost to UConn this year. It was a weird game. Fresno had their quarterback back.
Jake Haener.
He's back, had a great time. He got sacked quite a bit because of Boise's defense, but Fresno State just stayed ahead of them. Boise had the better offense, it looked like, but Fresno's defense was just stopping them. It was in the Mountain West. It was a weird 2:00 kick too. 2:00 in the Mountain West, guys. You gotta not do that.
I mean, this game really, I watched it. There was big plays. And then that was not. It was a big play and then nothing for a quarter. And then there was another big play and then nothing for another quarter. And then it got lost in the shuffle again because it's a Mountain West game. It's on Fox. It's basically behind 2 other bigger games. And honestly, paying attention to UCF and Tulane more than this one because, there's a punt return touchdown. There's an interception.
Yeah.
There was missed field goals. It wasn't a really highly executed game, which kind of spelled the story for the Mountain West this year.
Yeah, that is true. God, that is so true.
So really, I mean, both of them finished 9-4. This is Boise's first loss in the Mountain West, so they got to close the Mountain West circle for you, which you really enjoyed that.
That made me happy. So the problem is they didn't close the circle for me because there were 2 other Mountain West teams who hadn't won a game in the conference all year. But it just so happened that those 2 teams had played New Mexico State and UTEP. So spiritually, Mountain West teams, Mexico State and UTEP did make a visit. I'm gonna
Mountain West adjacent.
Mountain West adjacent, yes. I'm gonna give the worst criticism I can to the ACC. You want to hear the worst ACC slander you've ever heard?
Go right ahead.
I'm so excited.
I didn't even remember this game got played. It was on at the same time as the Big Ten game. I watched the Big Ten game. Big Ten game ended earlier, I think, or maybe this one did. I can't remember which. But I just forgot this game even happened. I looked at the score afterward and went, "Yep, Clemson beat North Carolina. That feels about right." Yeah, that's the slander. Is that I just didn't even pay attention. Cade Klubnik apparently played so well that Dabo was like, "Yep, Cade's our man." And we hope that DJ heads out west like his fellow brethren and finds some beautiful, warm spot to play where people aren't going to scream at him all year long.
Definitely needs the Bo Nix retreat method. Maybe the West Coast rejuvenation for DJ, or I don't know if he finds somewhere else that's fine, but go west, young man. Enjoy the West.
I feel like he's a fit for Utah.
Maybe Arizona State.
Ooh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Spend some years in Tempe. Everyone should spend some years in Tempe. If I could go back and can do it again, I would spend some extra years in Tempe. Just because that feels like a place to do that in your 20s. Go do that.
Forget that. Go to Flagstaff.
I love Flagstaff.
Okay,
Go to NAU.
So NAU. So now we're talking
Yeah.
NAU, and I like that too.
Go be a lumberjack. Hike in the San Franciscos. It'll be great. Go find yourself.
The only thing that I remembered from the ACC game was probably one of the worst intersections I've ever seen. I don't know what Drake May was doing. They were down 24-10. They were down 24-10, and he was driving, and he gets inside Clemson's like 10-yard line. I'm like, okay, maybe this will make it a one possession game. So he throws out. There's the tight end in the flat, basically 3 yards in front of him, and then he misses that tight end completely. There's nobody behind him, and throws it right to a Clemson defender who takes it 99 yards to the house for a pick six. And I was like, at that time, that's when I started designing the Clemson Islands with the logo. I was like, okay, let's since we were just beveling for the winners, and I started, Jordan gave me a little crash course to bevel, but we started and we made the topographic maps of the Clemson Paw. So we hope you enjoyed those. There was 4 versions of them, whichever one you liked the best. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I think I turned into the Big Ten, championship game at that point, and
which also wasn't a great game.
Oh no,
but had some moments. Like, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, the extreme close up of Harbaugh.
Yes.
Oh my God, like what? Why would they release the ref cam like that? But that was great because I mean, it was the best. It haunted me to my retail.
So good.
My retail core. Like I used to work in retail, and I just imagining Jim Harbaugh yelling at me that we didn't have something.
You have those 30-32s in the back. Go fucking look for those 30-32s. They're back there.
They said that they were in stock online. I promise you, they said that. Please go get them for me.
My sister said she was having flashbacks. She used to work in the Walgreens photo department taking passport photos.
Yes.
Like the people who couldn't sit in the box were like, no, back up, Mima, back up. Like, nope. She walks forward.
Oh, God.
It also has that grandpa on FaceTime look of like,
yes.
too close. Like, hey, no, okay, grandpa, you can pull that arm length. Okay, here we go.
Well, I didn't know you needed to pluck all your nose hairs, but that's a thing I know now.
Man, that's all I really cared about this game. I mean, Purdue, I love Purdue. Honestly, they kick ass. They kick so many field goals to like turn like a 2-possession game into a 2-possession game. And I'm like, just do it. Keep doing it.
The amount of effort to not make this game any closer. Like number wise, yes, but not physically any closer. That is so Purdue.
They were feisty. The fake flea flicker was something that
yes, that was great.
Apparently they've run it before, and that was a beautiful play call, which I mean, I feel like if Purdue could get like Michigan level talent, this would be crazy. But I mean Michigan really outclassed Purdue, but they fought. And I think one of our Michigan fans said that Purdue was tougher than Ohio State.
Oh God.
And I think that was a Miss Jane Coaston there. So
I really enjoyed all my Purdue Pete shit talking, because the joy is in the shit talking. The joy is knowing that for Michigan fans, like we talked about last week, they are all feel like they're cursed people. So just saying it out loud, even if they go, I don't know what you're talking about, we're going to destroy them, whatever. That's fine. You can say it out loud, but I've put the thought in your head. Or if it's there, I've rung it slightly. And like all good things that are vibratory, like bells or whatever, you just got to ring them slightly for it to start. If it hits that natural harmonic, it just starts amplifying in your head till it's all you can hear. So that's all I really enjoyed about it.
Jordan out here searching for the shit poster resonance point.
Exactly. There's a beautiful spot. Going on in the FCS playoffs, there were no upsets this week. Every home team won.
Straight chalk in the FCS. Very, very upsetting.
The one that came super close at the very end was Sacramento State over Richmond. Richmond drives across the country to play in a game in Sacramento that I can best be described as moist.
Not moist. I would say drenched. It was just soaked. Just a sloshy turf.
The ball hit the ground and it would just like
it'd stick. It was ridiculous. I mean, Holy Cross in New Hampshire had horrible weather too. Holy Cross handled business. Incarnate Word had to come back at the last second to beat Furman with a nice pass there. And then I believe Sanford beat SLU in overtime. So that was a little bit of a close one. Everybody else was really, really not too close. Montana State held off Weber State, which I feel like that Weber State is cursed in Bozeman because there was the kick return that he tried, and all of a sudden he just tripped and fell at the 3-yard line. It's so brutal.
It looked like there was twine. Like a child had trapped him there.
Yeah, like somebody put dental floss across the field and made him trip. That's how bad it was.
Shout out, by the way, to the Delaware quarterback. South Dakota State played Delaware. South Dakota State was up by like 60, and the Delaware quarterback got hurt in the fourth quarter badly enough they actually stopped the game. Like they just called the game at that point. Delaware quarterback is up. He's doing okay. Still looking at him, so we're glad he's doing well, or at least getting there. North Dakota State also had a day where they beat the tar out of Montana. So it was a very chalky weekend in FCS. In D2, however, we had some moments. Shepherd crushed Indiana, Pennsylvania.
Hey, do we have to do this?
No.
Yes, we do.
The Christmas tree capital of the world got flocked.
And they get to
and on Frank Signetti Field of all places.
Exactly.
Of all places.
And they get to play, of course, the winner of the number 1 versus number 2 revenge match, where Ferris State beat Grand Valley State. They've already played once this season. This time, Ferris State got revenge, and they're moving forward. On the other side, Angelo State, who was predicted to go to the final this year, got beat by our boys at the Colorado School of Mines. Go Blaster Burrow. Go Ore Diggers. Ore Diggers, which sounds again like a racial slur, but I assure you, Ore Digger is not a racial slur. We'll just call them the Burrows anyways, because that makes me feel more comfortable as a white person.
Just the Blasters.
Yeah,
the
Blasters.
They're the Blasters. That's it. That's the name of the mascot. They're the Blasters.
And they get to play West Florida, which is also another very good D2 team. The West Florida Ospreys? No, Argonauts. I believe they're the Argonauts.
Yeah, Ospreys are in North Florida.
North Florida, that's right.
Do not currently have a football team, but reportedly are getting one soon, at which point I will immediately become the internet's most obnoxious North Florida fan.
There we go. Let's talk about our poll. That's sort of our big end of the year. Kevin, what do we got for this poll this year? Give some stats.
So we had 1,832 ballots responses. That's the most we've ever had in this. Beautiful. I have 891. It may have been 890. I need to double check. We had 891 unique institutions, people, concepts.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to write
mascots, whatever, that received at least one vote in this. I'm very sorry to Jordan. You're gonna have to go down to 0.5 font for this.
That'd be great. I always have to zoom in so much.
We're gonna have to get is it gonna be the also receiving votes? Like 5 alsos, maybe?
And because I'm a dumbass who's never done like real tech work in my life, I don't know how to name files properly. So I just keep naming them also, whatever. So I have to sit there and count like on my screen, like how many alsos I've written down, as opposed to just like writing like version 2.3. So I'm going to change that.
Hurts me physically right now.
It should. God. It should.
No, this is a best practice. Change nothing.
I mean, did I just delete the first column of this spreadsheet with my laughing?
Back button.
Which?
Yes.
The first row. Did I fuck up the first row?
Oh yeah, no. Our
there we go.
Team had disappeared. Yes.
All right. Which we know who the number 1 team is.
Yeah.
You can't erase them like that.
We'll go from 25 to 1. Talk about them a little bit as we go through there. So like that. Number 25 is our LSU Tigers from Baton Rouge. They had a chaotic year that can be described the best. A year that we all started, we thought they were fucked, and then came back and played pretty well, and then tripped over themselves on the 4-yard line.
It was a lot of fun. The LSU year was, 9-4, but just the way that the 9-4 happened.
That's such a chaotic 9-4.
It was a chaotic 9-4.
Such a chaotic 9-4.
Yes.
God.
Like the beginning of the year, and the end of the year, it kind of ended the same way. I think their Sickos special teams carried them into the top 25.
Yeah, they somehow managed to overachieve and leave the season being deeply disappointed by how things went.
Yeah,
which is
it's very
hard
impressive.
to do.
It's hard to do, but congratulations LSU on making the top 25.
Number 24, USF. I'm giving big credit to USF. We have lots of USF fans that say they don't get the Sickos love they deserve because they're just too bad, or like they're not fun bad, they're just boring bad. So for them to break the top 25, I'm proud of them. It shows growth for them.
I feel like that last game that they had against Central Florida, and the crazy Temple game they had when their coach got fired, them just putting up a bunch of points,
I think,
and then just not stopping anybody either. So very entertaining Sicko. So congratulations to the Bulls.
I think their coaching search situation might play into this as well, because they had been fairly static throughout the year. They were 50th in our preseason poll, 44th in October, 40th in November, and then jumped to 24th.
Okay,
so
that's good.
something happened in the last month, and
That's
I think this nonsense with
Hey, do you want to know
whatever
who
they're
our
doing
coach
with their
is?
coach. Yes.
Do you want to know who our coach is? And they go radio silent for 6 days.
Yeah.
That and when the
And
poll
then
was
they
going
hire
on,
a
that
guy
could
from
have
the
helped.
Soviet Union.
Yes, they hire a Russian gentleman. Lovely. So
I'm gonna come up with the best of that like Cold War modernism art, that Cold War realism art, but instead of like red and gold, do it in green and gold, and just like for the people, for the farms, for the ranch,
Soviet
for
recruitment
Tampa. Yes.
propaganda posters. Yes, excellent.
Apparently, if you need any of that work done, North Korea is where you go. There's a really huge North Korea industry of like putting out that kind of art in your head. I listen to a podcast about this, guys. I'm one of those people. I listen to podcasts and drop interesting details about things. Wisconsin, number 23. You will notice a group of teams that are out west, let's say, that almost all appear on this poll separately and together.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's very talented.
In the Big Ten as well, number 22, Michigan State, which had a year that I think they thought they were coming and swinging, and then found out very quickly they had nothing with which to swing.
Mm-hmm. No, they done got swung.
Yeah, it's another just deeply strange year. Like, they got waxed in a lot of games, and they were in a few that I just didn't feel like they should have been. Like, I never knew what to think with them.
Just where they want you.
That's
Oh
right.
yeah, absolutely.
That just feels kind of where they are, just lifetime. Like if there is a spiritually 500 team,
Yes.
it is Michigan State.
They are the most "you're locked in here with me" team in the country. Just
and I cannot explain how much love I mean that with.
Yes,
There are
absolutely.
very few games in football where like I will turn on a Michigan State game at a drop of a hat because I have no idea what's about to happen, except there's just going to be pain all around.
I'm going to say this next one because I love it. Tied for last place in the SEC with two other teams, the Vanderbilt Commodores.
That's right. The vaunted Vanderbilt. I don't know if you can do sound effects on this.
I can do sound effects with whatever, man. I'm magic.
Whatever. Okay.
Whatever. It won't be
Okay.
mixed well.
No, they won't be mixed well.
It won't be
Coin
mixed well.
flip. Coin flip. Coin flip.
First one was so fucking loud. I was doing something else and I had it
the
on.
50, I think I counted it at 53 seconds of silence
good.
afterward. I don't
Yes,
remember,
that
but
was
just
great.
the dead silence.
I wish I were that funny on
painfully long
purpose.
afterwards.
You warned me that was going to happen. I was listening to it while driving in the dark, and I thought my phone had broken, and then I nearly
Yes.
hit a deer.
No, jeez. It happened to me too. I knew it was coming, and I was like, I had to check the headphones. I was like, I didn't know.
No,
Wait, I was like, it's
exactly.
Still, okay, it's
that was
still
my
moving.
exact reaction.
Mwah. Beautiful. Number 20, the Big Ten West as a unit.
They did it.
They did it.
They finally did it.
Even 1,000 points finally cracked the top 25.
They did it.
They've been hanging just on the outskirts for a while. Everyone who voted for them put it in some unique way. This was like my most corrected input.
Oh
And
yeah, I imagine just nightmares of people trying to
Oh,
input
yeah.
this.
Also, anyone who said like rest of the Big Ten West or something, you voted Iowa and you put Big Ten West, you put the rest of the Big Ten West
Mhm.
second. You're lumped in here too.
Mhm.
Iowa's lumped in here too.
That's right.
We'll get to Iowa uniquely later. I think you all know where they are at this point.
We need to make like the logo of the Big Ten West and then just have the Strong Badia theme playing over top of it, because that's as close to a national anthem as we're going to come this year, I think.
Mm-hmm. Are they done with divisions now?
Nope. We have one more year. of
Yeah,
the Big
there's
Ten
one more
West.
year of them.
And then we're in pods. And I'm sure some pod will figure out a way to be the most Big Ten West of pods.
The Big Ten whatever pod is definitely going to be the most Sickos pod out known to man.
They take away every division that we love.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Yes.
Coastal.
Why do you take away the things we love?
Every single ACC Coastal entry in this poll had RIP ACC Coastal or RIP in parentheses at the end of it. All of our voters feel the same way we did about that. Sorry to see you go. Thank you for the wonderful, wonderful chaos you've given us the past decade.
It's going to be great when all the members of the Atlantic realize that the coastal disease doesn't go away.
No, it's just gonna.
It's in your blood now too.
Oh yeah, it's
the
about
coastal is metastasizing right now.
Yeah, like this particular bacilli is about to jump hosts.
The doctor walks in with the sheet and just has the look.
Yeah.
Look on his face. I hate to tell you, but you got coastal now, which is something I'm pretty sure someone has said in Myrtle Beach as well. And it may make you, and it may make you pastille. So I don't know.
You've got the coastal. Please put your affairs in order.
Why is it Foghorn Leghorn? Why is that your doctor? Number 19, the Tulane Green Wave. We said it already, but hullabaloo, hip hip hooray for the big green wave. Not the big green wave. The green wave. I'm getting Dartmouth and Tulane smashed together. The green wave.
I mean, there is the Buddy Stevens connection there. So, there it is.
And they get to keep Willie Fritz, it looks like. So even better.
I love your tweet about Tulane when they just he just took a screenshot and you were like, Mac Brown.
I'd forgotten he was coach there, like in the 60s.
It comes on the screen and like you're like pointing Mac Brown.
I didn't know that till just now, so
it was so good.
Thank you for introducing me to
It was
that.
great. He had beautiful hair.
He did.
I love those tweets. I love those tweets
me.
where your delight is so evident.
All caps, like no explanation.
Oh yeah, like I could hear your tone of voice in that tweet with no trouble whatsoever. Siri, show me childlike joy.
Oh my God, it's Mac Brown.
This is the exact same. And you can imagine when I say something with that exact same sound and excitement, and like to my wife, honey, look at this on my phone. What am I looking at? It's Mac Brown in the 60s. Okay. Isn't it funny? No. Oh,
Never mind. Twitter will understand.
I'll share it with 75,000 other people on Twitter. They'll like it. Number 18, Oklahoma. Oklahoma had a fucking year. And you know what? It was great.
God, Oklahoma was just so... They look like world beaters. And like 3-0. They killed Nebraska. And then their whole world comes crashing down.
They were mediocre. They were mediocre.
It was such a streaky season. It was so confusing.
You lost to us, idiots.
That's the thing. You lost to West Virginia.
They caused you to keep your coach.
Stop.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh God. Oh shit.
Beth is gonna come.
Say that.
Those are dangerous words. There.
Oh my God.
Well,
I just said I have a sword upstairs.
Oh my God. I'm about to get sliced by the sword.
And you know what?
On planes. Oh
and
God.
You know who's not going to send me a revenge gift for sending Paw Patrol to you now?
It's my turn now. Yeah, after that comment.
Paw Patrol, be there on the double. Never there's a problem. Yeah.
I'm disconnecting
is this
my
a good
headphones. I don't
time
want that song
to
in
bring
my head.
up
Thank
something that I forgot to mention when we were discussing conference championships, but Oklahoma here reminded me of it. The only team that is changing conferences in the near future to have won a conference title game this year was UTSA.
Meep. Hell yeah.
Everyone else who's moving up, moving sideways, joining a conference, well, obviously, like, BYU's not winning a title game, joining a conference because they don't have one right now. But yeah, Meep had a few losses and a lot of conspicuously not presents. Including our
moving up
number
with a
18
bullet.
team here.
Let's say, number 18, Oklahoma, conspicuously unpresent. Number 17, TCU, present in the title game, didn't make it over the line. We talked about that one too. All hell the Hypnotoad.
I warned you about this.
I know
you
did.
fucked around for too long.
God. We found out just how long you
that
can
was
fuck
my
around and find
immediate response to this is now we know the exact limit of fucking around prior to finding out, and it is overtime of the conference championship game.
God. Number 16, our beloved Orange, the Syracuse Orange, a team that looked like world beaters, and they got beat.
Yeah, I don't know if Syracuse is good, but I do know they are number 16 in our poll.
I think that's the answer we've come up with.
That's it. Yeah, I don't think anybody else knows for sure either.
They don't.
No.
One of our poll voters put them in as Syracuse (certified meh) And I'm like,
Yep.
Feels
agree with
correct.
that.
hmm
Then we have another team that had a very confusing season, number 15, App State. Another team,
Oh,
another
yes.
season of the fuck did you just do?
It was a rough year to be a Mountaineer, just across the board.
Hey, do you remember when UNC only beat App State by 2 points the first game of the year? It was 63-61. Remember when that happened?
hmm
You remember when I tweeted a picture of Mac Brown's hair as App State head coach?
Yeah.
It looked like a Lego man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember that.
And then I just tweeted out more Mac Brown love. It's all we do. We're a Mac Brown podcast.
Mac Brown.
Mac Brown. I sound like who's the announcer that just keeps sounding random shit? It's like touchdown,
Gus
Fox
Johnson.
Sports.
Gus
Yeah,
Johnson.
I go Gus Johnson during games. Mac Brown, Twitter, App State football. This same App State team also that beat Texas A&M also lost to Texas State. So that happened.
Yeah.
It was a weird year.
Just the full
Very weird.
Texas experience.
It was.
Yes, the Texas two-step.
There we go. I like that. That was
Lost to a Texas team that fired their coach, beat a Texas team that can't afford to fire their coach.
Jordan, we need to write a new movement to the Suite of American Dances.
good. Yes, we do.
There's your 1% joke for this week.
That was good. Number
I got
14 on
nothing
our
there.
number 14 on our poll, Iowa State. Man, they had the most cursed year. This was our Nebraska this year. They absolutely lost all but one of their Big 12 games after looking pretty good. I saw Brock Purdy do something in the NFL. That made me feel good about Iowa State for a little while.
Yeah, he popped back into the poll, and what was clearly the votes that came in after that game. He cropped up a couple times. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Iowa State unlocked Oops All Blue Shells this season. And
Yep.
oof.
They were the anti-TCU in
They
every way.
were.
It's just
Mhm.
like we fucked around and found out every time.
Every single time. Again,
Even
Iowa.
Even when we didn't fuck around, we still found out.
That's right. It's they were the sideshow Bob team. They stepped on every single rig humanly possible. It just when you thought they were going to win somehow,
The universe owes a karmic debt to Iowa State at this point that the rest of the Big 12 should be terrified about.
Because the debt will come due.
Yep.
hmm
Number 13, the Purdue Boilermakers. Purdue had, like we talked about earlier, a really weird season. They beat some teams they shouldn't have. They looked like their usual God killer selves for a little bit, and then it just sort of, and they were all happy with it. Like Purdue fans seemed totally pleased with this season in terms of just the amount of chaos they were able to cause. I tried to type in Purdue Pete, but I typed in Purdue Pet, and apparently Purdue has a vet school that I just learned about.
I just know one thing with Purdue: don't talk about the size of their drum or the size of their cannon.
That's right.
That's right.
Their little tiny cannon and their little tiny drum. Don't talk
They're-
about
they're-
those.
Their drum is not compensating for their cannon. I'll just say that.
Number 12, a team in the Big 12 who should worry about debt coming due. Kansas Jayhawks. Congratulations, Kansas. You made it through this season. It wasn't quite as glorious as you wanted it to be, but I think in retrospect, it's okay that you should be fine with that. Kansas went 6-6 this year. Kansas managed to basically get a couple of good ones off the front, and then it just sort of died off real fast. That had to do with some quarterback injuries as well. They just weren't as deep as they thought they were. That's fine.
They got to a bowl, and I think any Kansas fan would have taken that at the
Mhm.
beginning of the year as a miracle season, and they got one. So they're going to be playing our Kansas.
For the battle of the
Kansas
right to
is
call
in the
Kansas.
place to be disappointed with 6-6, which that's incredible.
hmm
I think I said on my first appearance on this podcast, all I wanted was a ranked Sunflower Showdown, and we didn't quite get there this
Close.
year, but it was looking that way for a long time.
Hey, you know who's 6-6 and super fucking happy about it? Number 11, New Mexico State University. Holy shit, guys. New Mexico State went 6-6 into their first year with Jerry Kill. I can't believe it.
I'm just going to say I went to Las Cruces, and ever since I left, New Mexico State finished 5-1 after leaving. I'm not going to say that what happened at the game where I was at. No, that's crazy. Left, and then I don't know what happened. I can't believe it happened. They're 6-6. We're extremely happy. They're going to Detroit for the Quick Lane Bowl, and I think we're going to have Maybe Chicken Sedan is going to show up for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we'll have a representative.
We're going to
there.
have to have somebody there. We will harass the Quick Lane Bowl to let us get media credentials for that one.
At the time that you were at the game, Commish, they were in discussion for worst FBS team in the country, and distinctly not there anymore.
Not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know who might be there? Number 10 on our list. Don Brown had a year, guys.
Who?
Don Brown, he's enjoyed New
Oh,
England.
UMass.
UMass had a year. They beat Stony Brook, but lost a couple other really close ones. Some they got absolutely just rolled by. Hopefully, UMass starts to get this thing turned around with a new coach.
They played well.
They
I
did.
mean, I feel like I don't feel like they got killed in every single game. They played Texas A&M strong. They played well. They just don't know. I don't think they have enough talent to get them over the line to get some wins. I had a daydream the other day that I was interviewing Don Brown, and my first question was, how does he like his chowder? Since we talk about that a lot. And, I didn't get an answer because it was a dream. But if I do ever go to Amherst and interview Don Brown, that will be my first question to him.
Number 9 on our list, South Carolina, which I believe probably made a great push at the end of the season because of their last week win against Clemson.
And then the Tennessee
yes.
win
And
before
Tennessee.
Oh,
that.
yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, no, they
Oh, yeah.
ended on they ended
were-
on the giant killer streak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they were a beautiful chaos agent down the stretch.
A remarkable number of those South Carolina votes came in under Beamer Ball as well,
Love it.
which took me a minute to get used to putting South Carolina in there because mentally that goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
But a lot of them had it parenthetically, and I was like, okay, like I can get used to this. But
Mhm.
that's about right. Just they dragged down the big ones at the end of the year, and it was really fun to watch. Spencer Rattler finally did what we all expected he'd be able to do there, and he picked the 2 best games to do it in.
You're gonna win 2 there. You're gonna get those 2. Number 8 on our list, Colorado Buffs. They got their 1 win. One of us called it. I can't remember who it was, but one of us called the California win, the Cal win.
That was me.
Ah,
I
damn
called
it.
Colorado beating Cal. I wasted my Fubo free TV trial 7 weeks
That's right.
on this one. I cashed it in for this game,
Week
and
6.
Colorado came through and beat Cal. So I called that one. I feel like that was my best call of the year. I really wanted that one to be Sickos game of the week, but I got overruled that week. But it doesn't matter. I called Colorado beating Cal, and that was their only win of the year. That was a big one, and I did not waste my Fubo free TV trial. So I cashed it in correctly.
You and apparently the 50,000 people in attendance all watched Colorado win that game.
That's right. It was sold out. It was the first game after their interim coach, so they were hyped for that game.
That was part of
and
the
I thought
interim.
they
That
could
was
pull it
part
off.
of the interim.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's right, the interim bump. So
So
I think
what
it
I'm
was,
what I'm hearing right now is that you are solely responsible for Deion Sanders moving to Colorado. You are solely responsible for New Mexico State turning things around, and you're the reason that Tulane won. You have had a heck of a year, Commish.
It's been a
This
year,
is
Commish.
impressive.
it's just amazing. I cannot use my powers for ULM. So my powers are not that strong. So
There's too much emotion there. You need
Yeah.
to
It is.
be
I
zen on it.
I
Yeah.
can't do it. So
It's blocking your chi.
I'm still waiting for Terry Bowden as the athletic director, and then ULM gets a new coach. So I'm just waiting for that premonition to come true.
I love
Mhm.
how you managed to say the word athletic with at least like 6 syllables. Athletic director. It
Yeah,
sounds
from
like
Atlanta.
Atalanta.
athletic director. Oh, I
It
love it.
reminds me, athletic director. That's right.
Number 7, I just typed in Auburn Tigers into Google and saw head coach Hugh Freeze, and that just came back to me again.
Oh God.
So this is gonna come in waves until I get used to that.
Yeah, I'm not used to it yet. No, not happening.
Let's go on then to number 6,
Okay.
the Miami Tigers. No, Miami Tigers.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. The U.
Have there ever been Miami Tigers, or am I just making things up at this point?
There are now.
We're gonna have to look something up.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Miami Tigers.
Oh my god.
There's a baseball academy, maybe. I don't know. Miami Beach Tigers were a minor league baseball team in the 40s.
It's just
Okay.
an ibis
There
with
we go.
stripes.
Yeah.
The Miami Tigers are a baseball club in Hialeah, Florida.
There you go. So Miami, oh man, Miami had the year. Kamish, I'll let you talk your feelings since you have connections to Miami's your love.
I again, grew up with them. Mom's from Miami, from Hialeah, along with the Miami Tigers. Apparently, I can't even. I mean, I'm totally throwing the Miami Tigers. Okay, I'm never gonna.
The Miami football Tigers.
The Miami football Tigers. Go Tigers. No, I don't know, Coach.
Oh.
That had to be where it got. Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know why I just did the Coach O now. So no, Miami, a bunch of hopes in the transfer portal. They put out the like, we're gonna be fine, we're gonna be back to normal, we're gonna be great, which I think they should have realized that they shouldn't have done that. But in the portal age, they're teams that cash in. Maybe they didn't get the right people. They're gonna recruit, they're gonna be fine. But this year was just awful. I mean, I don't even know how many they had the 8 turnovers in a game.
Yep.
They almost did it twice. I think the favorite game I had is their quadruple overtime win where they didn't even score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, oh, Miami, just be a little bit, just be confident, but just don't be cocky. That's what you need to find the line, Miami.
No.
Be confident.
No. Nope.
Be confident, but no cocky.
Nope. You're Miami. You only know how to do one thing, and it's not be confident. It is throw the U, and all you do is just like take the rock to the head.
Mm-hmm,
you gotta earn the U back. You gotta earn the U back at this point.
Be who you are, ideally in capital letters.
But the number 5 team really deserved the U here, and
hell yeah, they did.
UConn.
The UConn. Hell yeah. Going to a bowl game with Jim Mora. Jim Mora, some may say the best coach the Atlanta Falcons have ever had. Some people may say that. I wouldn't, but some people might. Return to mean whatever. It happens to every team. That's fine. But this was not one that this and New Mexico State both being in like bowl games seemed to be so insane 4 months ago.
Yeah.
I feel like we spoke this into existence.
In Kansas, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe like this happened this year. I'm just very, very happy with this year, honestly. And then they're getting the recognition in the poll for this because, I mean, the AP voters are not going to do this. Only the Sickos committee poll is going to do this and recognize teams that do something like this with like UMass, Kansas, UConn, just amazing seasons for all of them. And you go back at the beginning of August and say that these 3 schools are bowl eligible.
Right.
You're going to look like an absolute idiot, but then it happens. It's amazing. UConn did it. I feel like they did it the hardest way possible.
They did. They rolled it the hardest way possible.
Yeah. I can't believe that they pulled it off, and them doing it and able to do it at home. Just fantastic for UConn and all their fans to actually enjoy a bowl and head on down to Myrtle Beach, play some miniature golf, and then go to Conway for the Myrtle Beach Bowl. You'll get a sword. Some surf turf.
Get a sword.
Yeah.
Get a sword. Smuggle it on a plane.
Yeah, I guarantee you, whatever airport is near there, security is about as lax as Moscow's was back in whenever Beth was there. Guarantee you that security is pretty lax.
Just put the sword in your golf bag and then go play golf, and you'll be fine. You got your sword in.
What's that? It's my pitching wedge.
Was that your southern accent again? Was that what you're trying for?
Yes.
my pitching wedge.
We're gonna do some accent work with you off season. We're gonna get you there. I'm excited for this.
No.
Don't do that. Don't. Let's just keep them. We're not professionals here.
Number 4, champions of Ireland, baby. 1-0 in Ireland. Your Northwestern Wildcats. Don't ask what happened the next 11 games. Number 3.
None of those were for trophies. Doesn't
none.
matter.
No.
Well,
Right.
Illinois was, but
the Illinois one was, yes.
They were perfect on both continents.
Number 3.
There we go.
0-1 in Ireland. Don't ask what happened for the next 11 games. Nebraska.
You know,
got
perfection
Matt Roll.
has many ways.
You got Matt Roll. Congratulations. I hope that works out for you. He seems like a nice enough guy. He's taking pictures. He's there with his kids. They're having fun.
My favorite thing from the Matt Rule thing when they were trying to sneak him around campus, he said that he wore sunglasses and a hat so he didn't get noticed.
He does look real Nebraska.
That's it. And I was like, okay, that's all he needs. Like he had his beard and sunglasses and a hat and could just blend in Nebraska normally.
Okay, but Kamish, if I put that guy in a quarter zip, sunglasses, and a baseball hat, a Nebraska baseball hat, and made that his Twitter avatar, could you tell him apart from anyone else on Twitter sometimes?
Honestly, I really didn't know what he looked like before.
I wouldn't
You
recognize
didn't?
him outside of the
no.
tax mock.
I totally do, because I remember
That's
the,
it.
the,
All I
the,
remember
the
is the
Baylor
smock.
vests.
That's
I
it.
remember- yeah,
the
the-
smock.
Yes,
Like
yes.
when he was at Carolina, again, I'm a suffering Saints fan this year, but when he was at Carolina, it just he became faceless to me as the Carolina coach. But the smock, Baylor, Matt Rule, I recognize, but if he doesn't have a smock on, I'm not going to recognize it probably.
Sounds like we need a Clay Helton style Photoshop there of just a man in a smock with a thumb head.
If you gave me a police lineup of 15 coaches and asked me which one he was, I could not tell you.
So our top two, number 2, Texas A&M, you pushed for the end, didn't quite make it over the top. That kind of means a lot. Congrats, you beat LSU at the end of the season in what is the season equivalent of garbage time.
Good for you, A&M. You almost did something.
The A&M season, I did not see this one coming at all. After they lost to App State, that was kind of the end of their season, and it was just...
But they beat Miami, don't you remember?
Yeah.
Don't you remember the excitement? They were like, don't worry about it, guys. We got it fixed. We beat Miami.
Much like getting your dog fixed. Like it didn't
take.
It didn't work out.
It didn't take.
Nope. So they were a joy to watch Sickos wise this year, because for some odd reason they would be losing, and then at the end they would just make it incredibly close when like there was some sort of pressure on them. Like, okay, I got to get going now. And then they would just lose like extremely close, or they'd have to kick an onside kick because they were down by like 10.
They turned into the prop gun that says bang at the worst possible times all year. And it was wondrous.
Hope you enjoy Jimbo. You got him for a while. And
sure.
lastly, our number 1 team. We take our hats off to you, Iowa Hawkeyes. Don't need to make any changes. Don't need to change your offensive coordinator, any personnel. It's perfect the way it is.
It's great.
Don't change a damn thing.
They're going to be starting their bowl game with a quarterback that has never thrown a pass before, so that should be fun. Because Padilla entered the transfer portal, and Petrus is injured and had surgery, and he's out for the year. So they're going to have a third string quarterback in the Music City Bowl
against Kentucky, which we'll talk about that game. That game, that's a spicy game for us.
Yes.
Seriously, when that was announced, I swear we got tagged in it at least 100 times.
Yes.
It was one of those tweets where they're like, dude, you need to see this. And I'm like, I promise you, we've seen it. I promise you. But it just kept coming. And I was
we've
like,
tweeted it alreed, in fact.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Dude,
I saw that crop across my phone, and I'm just like, and my friends are sitting like, is everything okay? Is something okay? And I'm like, I'm the Music City Bowl.
And even though our energy could get Pitt out to El Paso, we couldn't get Oregon State out there with them, but that's okay.
Yeah, we had a lot of hopes for Pitt, because there was the discussion of the Pitt Iowa Pinstripe Bowl at one point too, which we were all extremely excited at that idea, but I'll take Pitt in the Sun Bowl.
I'm going to mention it here because I'll forget about it before the next time, but they managed to introduce Pitt in the Sun Bowl with the wrong helmet.
That was beautiful.
They used the old gold and navy helmet, and so one of our followers went, the same time Pitt went to the Sun Bowl, they also introduced them to the wrong helmet. And then showed me a picture of like the block, like the gold and blue, like the block letters after they stopped using the block letters. So it seems like Pitt just leaves the helmet there every time. It's like take a penny, drop a penny. Because we're running late tonight, because we got started late and we got people with finals, I'm going to cut it off here for tonight. I'll post all the extra wacky stuff, and we'll have a discussion of that next time as well. Kevin, thank you so much as always for doing your magic spreadsheeting, sir. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah. No, it's good. Thanks for having me. It's always fun to be on here too.
Beth, thank you for bringing the fun and the music.
Thanks.
And Kamish, salute as always, good sir.
That's right. I got a lot of votes for the quad box, which I'm pretty happy about. Yes.
We will talk to you guys again later on this week and start with our bowl previews. Have a good one.